Welcome back to UK Uncovered. All right then, listen up. Every story needs a villain. In the last video I gave you 10 places that were struggling, bit grim, bit down on their luck. But the real offenders, Slough, Blackpool, the potholes of Bradford, and the absolute state of Peterborough, deserve their dedicated video. These 4 do not fit in the 10 miserable places in Great Britain, the heavyweights, the Four Horsemen of the British apocalypse that consistently top every worst place to live poll, the ones that get a proper battering in the press, their economies gone pear-shaped, rent is daylight robbery. Now I've lived up and down this country, and I can tell you hand on heart, I've seen the good, the bad, and the bloody awful. So I'm asking the hard question, are these places actually hell on earth? Or are they the last life rafts left for us normal folk? Grab a stiff drink, you're going to need it. Let's crack on with the absolutely most miserable places in Great Britain. Starting with Peterborough. Peterborough has been voted the worst city in the UK a couple times in recent years. It just lost the title to Luton. Putting Peterborough on a list like this feels like kicking a bloke when he's down, but the reputation here? It's earned. I've been through Peterborough more times than I care to remember, usually stuck waiting for a connection at that godforsaken station. The vibe is bang average, it's tense, it's transient, it doesn't feel like a home, it feels like a massive open-air waiting room where everyone is just killing time until the London train turns up. The city centre is a mess. It's a total clash. You've got the cathedral, which is proper cracking world-class stuff, and then right next door you've got this soulless gray 1980s shopping precinct. It's enough to suck the joy right out of you. The atmosphere is functional at best, hostile at worst. It feels like a city that grew too fast, swallowed up the villages, spat out concrete roundabouts. It's got no identity other than easy to leave. I've been digging through the forums and talking to the locals. The verdict? No civic pride, none. Residents told me the town center turns into a zombie apocalypse after dark. One fella called Dave told me the problem with Peterborough is nobody loves it, we just use it. Fair point, Dave. But look, if you're forced to live here, maybe for work, maybe because the South is too pricey, there are pockets of sanity. Longthorpe, Orton Waterville, very pleasant, leafy, old stone houses, feels a million miles away from the grime of the center. If you ask me, look for somewhere outside the city that's commutable. If you're dead set on living in city, avoid places in Millfield, Eastfield, West Town. Dogsthorpe, particularly near the Tesco Express garage, Welland, all rubbish areas. I'd recommend areas like Netherton, Longthorpe, Hampton most out of any others. Let's talk about money. It's the only reason people move here. The median home price is around £240,000. That's not cheap for the north, but for a commuter town under an hour from London, it's a steal. Rents range from £900 to £1,200. Overall, it's a soulless hub, no heart, but if you work in London and can't afford £1 million shoebox, it's a grim but necessary compromise. It's a city of wasted potential, largely ruined by the people who live here. Possibly not the worst city in the UK, but has an atmosphere of misery. If you've ever stood freezing on a platform at Peterborough Station, smash that like button. We've all been there. At number 3, we're heading up north, West Yorkshire in Bradford. Now, Bradford is a crying shame because it should be beautiful. Once the wool capital of the world, grand Victorian buildings, proper wealth. But today, it's fractured, tense, chaotic. I drove through Bradford last summer on my way to Leeds, and mate, I nearly had 3 mini heart attacks in 20 minutes. Driving through Bradford isn't a commute, it's taking your life in your hands. The driving style here is infamous, absolute madness. It creates an atmosphere of lawlessness, like the rules of the road are just vague suggestions. It's a city of high walls and closed doors. Communities live side by side, but they don't mix. It feels segregated, defensive. The reason Bradford is so high on this misery list? Deprivation, deep-seated, and the feeling that the city has lost the plot. I spoke to residents and they are fed up. They love the history, and they will fight you if you insult the curry, best in the UK, hands down. But they are exhausted. The litter, the noise, the flashy cars revving at 2 a.m. while the infrastructure crumbles. One local called it a tale of two cities, community spirit on one street, total anarchy on the next. That said, you can live a cracking life here if you know where to look. Saltaire is a stunning UNESCO heritage site, like stepping back in time. And the numbers? Tempting, very tempting. The median home price is just £160,000. You can buy a stone terrace here for the price of a garage in Bristol. Rents are cheap as chips, between £600 and £850. Overall, it's chaotic. It's messy. You need your wits about you, but for £160,000, you get a house that would cost a fortune down south. Is the stress worth the stone walls? You tell me. Drop a comment if you've ever seen Bradford racing firsthand. I want to hear the stories. Just missing the top spot, or dodging the bullet, number 2 is Slough. Right on London's doorstep, but let's be honest, Slough is the service entrance, the back alley. I had a mate who worked in Slough for 3 years, poor sod, and every time I met him for a pint, he looked like his soul had been slowly drained out through a straw. The atmosphere? Brutally functional. It's a concrete jungle. Roundabouts, trading estates, 1960s office blocks blocking out the sun. Slough is just grim, looks horrible, high crime and litter seemingly everywhere. I never felt unsafe at midday in a large Tesco's before I visited Slough. It's not a community. It's a transit zone. People exist here. They don't live here. The vibe is gray, designed for lorries, not humans. You walk down the street and you feel insignificant, drowned out by the traffic on the A4. Slough is miserable because it's the ultimate commuter trap. Zero character. It's not dangerous like some rough northern towns. It's just dull, ugly, and expensive. I talked to locals. They sound bored stiff. They hate the office for making them a joke, but they admit the high street is a disaster. Pound shops, fast food, empty units. It's a dormitory, one bloke said. Sleep here, work here, live somewhere else. Why is Slough like a Tupperware container? Plastic, functional, and you can't wait to get your leftovers out of it. If you have to be here, Sydenham and Langley are all right. Decent suburban spots. You've got the Elizabeth line now. Game changer, but you pay through the nose for it. Median home price is a steep £380,000. Rents are painful. £1,300 to £1,600. You're paying London prices to live in a concrete box. Overall, it's expensive. It's ugly. But if your career is in the city and you want to buy a house before you're 50, Slough is the bitter pill you have to swallow. Make sure you subscribe, or I'll send you a 10-hour video of Slough's roundabouts. Don't test me. And fun fact, Slough is the most economically productive place per capita in the UK. Yeah, you heard it right. And here we are, the Grandmaster of Gloom, the champion, number 1, Blackpool. Now I've got a soft spot for Blackpool because my nan used to drag me there every summer when I was a kid. Fish and chips on the pier, dodgy arcade games, the lot. But even back then, I could see the cracks forming. Blackpool is unique. It was built for one thing, joy. And seeing a place built for joy fall apart? That's heartbreaking. The vibe is a permanent, sticky hangover. It's the Vegas of the North, if Vegas lost its money, developed a habit, and stopped painting the walls in 1995. Frantic in summer, desolate in winter, the wind off the Irish Sea cuts right through you. Smells of stale donuts and desperation. 8 of the top 10 most deprived areas in the country are in Blackpool. it's very poor and run down. Blackpool tops the list because of shit life syndrome, crude term but real. Poor health, poor housing, no jobs, it's all here. Locals are split. Some love the anything goes attitude, most want out, they talk about the seasonality. When the tourists leg at the town feels like a graveyard. The party finished 20 years ago, one local said. We're still sweeping up the confetti. But look, move inland. Stanley Park, Polton-le-Filed, gorgeous, green, posh. But the town center? Rough as old boots. It's also a cheap place to get pissed, so it's a common place for people to travel to when they want a messy night out. Or it used to be anyway. I don't know if it's still the case, but when I lived in the Northwest, pretty much everyone who drank had a drunken Blackpool story. The numbers, though, lowest you'll see. Median home price is £130,000. You can find flats for £60,000. Rents are peanuts, £550 to £750. But unemployment is high. Wages are rock bottom. It has some serious poverty-related social issues, but Latham, St. Anne's, Southport, and the seaside bits of the Wirral are all worth looking at if you are considering Blackpool. The major catch is the sadness, seeing a place meant for happy memories looking so broken. The verdict? It's the hardest, grittiest place in the UK, but for £130,000, if you're tough enough to handle the winter, it's the only place left where you can buy a house on a credit card. So there you have it. The Four Horsemen, Peterborough, Bradford, Slough, Blackpool. Look, we've had a laugh, but the reality is these places are home to millions. Normal folk, just trying to get by. These towns are the front line of the cost of living crisis. Rent is low because the struggle is high. But you can be miserable in a damp flat in Slough or miserable in a damp flat in Chelsea paying 4 times the rent. I've moved around enough to know that happiness isn't about the postcode, it's about the people. If you can find a good street, a cracking pub, and decent mates in any of these towns, you've beaten the system. You've taken the discount and survived the misery. Thanks for watching UK Uncovered. Stay safe, look after your neighbors, and I'll catch you in the next one.